Hello, Steve White's 89. Well, I have been looking through the Star Wars films before watching Rise of Skywalker, and of course, I got to Solo. Now, Solo was a very controversial film for the Star Wars people. I started paying attention to YouTube, and the YouTubers just after a bit after Ghostbusters 2016. The next big controversy was the whole um, Solo and Last Jedi thing. And Solo got really a lot of hate. I heard a lot of bad things about it, and I wasn't really excited about seeing it. I thought I would. I went into it about 50 minutes into the screening because I didn't really care. Um, and then basically from the card game with Lando in the middle of the film. And then I actually kind of enjoyed it, and I thought, damn, I should have watched the whole film. So I went to see it again from the start, and I did enjoy it. The only real issue I had with the film was with the production design overall. The color, it's so grey and dull, and some of the scenes in the first couple of sections of the film are so dark and dull and grey and shadowy. And I think this fear of using color in films, it has a sort of affects the audience. I mean, color has a psychological effect on you, and I think films like Superman remakes and Batman vs Superman, those films, part of their lack of appeal, it's not just the story, it's also, I think, just the look, the color, and this Solo is part of that whole unfortunate trend of films that have no color, no joy about them, no energy. They're just really gritty and realistic and dull and grey. And the first couple of parts of the film are like that. Now, when they get in the castle run, it's a bit more interesting, and there's actually some red at one point in the film. um, when they're in the gravity well and that. So there's only a few little moments of color, and that's the only thing I really hated about the film. Now, I thought the heist scene was incredibly realistic, and it was a good action scene. But the whole film had this small scale, not I mean low budget, but not low budget look, where like the big sort of scene in the whole film was a train heist, and the end of the film. I mean, really, the best scene was the castle run part, but that still was basically just effects outside ship, people in ship set. You know, it wasn't that spectacular on that level. Now, I enjoyed it, but the end of the film is so small. It's just a shootout in a room with like four people, and just the game playing between the main people. And it just sort of feels small. It's interesting, it's fun, but it it is so far removed from the galaxy spanning gigantic, you know, drama and opera of Star Wars, the original trilogy, and the prequels. And it's so shocking to go from the prequels to Solo, like from that huge universe and the color and the detail and everything, to just this grey, murky, can barely. The first two sections of the film, the first 25 minutes of the film is just a big grey fog patch. I mean, I don't. So it's. But the thing I like about it is it has that quality that the original Star Wars had. A bunch of just ragtag rebel people in one ship, just flying by the seat of their pants, trying to survive. That kind of is what feels like Star Wars to me in some ways. It's sort of has the same problem. Star Wars sort of has the same problem that Matrix had. It was very small and a very simple idea that really worked, and then they had to expand it into a whole universe for the sequels and to create a whole universe, so they had a whole franchise and blah blah blah. And that was part of. I saw an interesting review of someone was reviewing the remastered original trilogy that the fans have made, where they've gone back and restored it basically, and watching that sort of with and erasing the knowledge of all the franchise and the universe building that's to come, and just to watch the film as it was originally intended, as a lot simpler. This film sort of had that feel to me. It doesn't. pull from all those elements and all the story things. It's very much its own little small little story, and it's its blessing and its curse. It's good because the character and the energy and just that is great, but you do miss the scope of Star Wars because you're so used to that. So it kind of couldn't win. I don't think it really could win. It wasn't going to make the fans happy, and the people who probably would like it more, who aren't so much into Star Wars and big, gigantic, operatic sci-fi, um, it's they just couldn't win. They weren't going to get either. So, and I am curious to see sort of what the film would have ended up like, because it's notorious that it was stopped during production. The directors, because originally it was two directors, were fired and replaced with Ron Howard, and they had to reshoot. I forgot what the estimate was, but a huge portion of the film to finish it and get it out there. And it's a different film from what it would have been. And Ron Howard did a good job, but I'm very curious to see. I'm not sure if the other version would have worked better. I think maybe they ended up with the best version, but there's lots of little things like his lover betraying him, this girl he fell in love with and just was not obsessed with, but just infatuated with, and returning to, and her returning to the people that she was involved with. And I don't know if all that was explained in the extended universe or not, but I really didn't understand why she left. And I felt a bit betrayed at the end. I sort of wanted them to run off happily ever after on adventures or something. Maybe that's how the trilogy would have ended if they got the trilogy. There's talk of maybe a second film or maybe a solo TV series. But I liked it. I forgot to buy it on Blu-ray, so I had to watch it on DVD. And I really also was missing the picture quality from that. So I'm going to go out and buy it. I'll probably get the steelbook because they've still got the steelbooks at JB Hi-Fi, I think. Because it hasn't sold as well. It did sell less than any of the Star Wars films. They did lose money on it, and it is effectively a bomb, and the first bomb of the Star Wars era. Not because it didn't have an audience and people didn't go to see it and it didn't make money, but because they spent so much money on filming it and reshooting it that they didn't make any profit. So the studios consider it a bomb. I don't think it's a bomb because people did see it, people did like it. It has its own group of people and section of Star Wars fans who do like it. So I hate this idea that it's just based on if the studio makes profit, if it's a good film or not, or if it's a valuable film or not. To the studio, yes, but I don't think that should be the only thing that you measure a film by, whether it profits from the studio. The only other issue I really had was just the villain. The villain was really boring. He was just like a human gangster, and just there was nothing particularly Star Wars about him. You could see that sort of character, that sort of villain in any film. When I go to Star Wars, I want a Darth Vader or a Palpatine or somebody that I can only get in the Star Wars universe. That was the only thing that let it down for me. Well, the only other thing. So a few little things that didn't work, a few things that did work. Overall, I like it. That's my conclusion. Okay, I'm on to Rogue One, and then finally the original trilogy, which I've been looking forward to the most. Yeah, feel free to like, share, comment. Comments are fun. Thanks.